Have you ever felt paralyzed by your own insecurity, as if every decision depended on someone else's approval or the perfect outcome? The truth is, most of us have been there, even if we don't admit it. The good news is that it's possible to build inner security and lasting self-confidence without having to change the world around us. You just need to start transforming your mind and your actions. Inspired by the teachings of Stoicism, this guide shows how small daily practices can strengthen self-worth, develop self-control, and create a routine aligned with your purpose. Imagine waking up every day with the certainty that, regardless of the circumstances, you have the power to act with resilience and calm. Stoicism offers tools for dealing with internal and external challenges, from feelings of fear and insecurity to criticism and unexpected situations. It teaches that happiness doesn't depend on the approval of others, but on how we manage our emotions, cultivate virtues, and build healthy relationships. Throughout this guide, you'll learn how to transform insecurity into self-compassion, doubts into learning, and moments of frustration into opportunities for personal growth. Each chapter presents practical strategies, reflections, and habits that can be easily incorporated into your daily life, without requiring radical changes or impossible sacrifices. Furthermore, this guide shows you how to find your life purpose, your ikigai, and integrate it into your daily routine, making each action more intentional and meaningful. With discipline, humility, and constant reflection, you can strengthen your resilience and live with greater courage, confidence, and balance. Here, the focus is not just on surviving adversity, but on thriving in it, learning to extract value and virtue from each experience. Prepare for a journey that combines philosophy, practice, and inspiration, inviting you to take control of your life and become the best version of yourself. Ultimately, this isn't just a book or guide. It's an invitation to look within, discover your inner strength, and transform the way you relate to the world and yourself. You'll learn to cultivate self-worth, manage emotions, maintain peace of mind, and build strong relationships, all while moving toward continuous personal growth. If you're ready to face insecurity and free yourself from the doubts that hinder your life, this guide is your first step toward a more fulfilling, virtuous existence, aligned with what truly matters: insecurity and self-esteem. Insecurity is a silent shadow that infiltrates our decisions, often making us doubt our own capabilities. Stoicism invites us to look within and recognize that our worth doesn't depend on the gaze of others, social status, or accumulated wealth, but rather on the virtues we cultivate every day. It's common to seek external approval to feel complete, but this search often increases anxiety and distances us from true self-worth. By understanding that courage, justice, and temperance are our foundation, we begin to realize that inner security isn't something we can buy, but something we can build. Small steps, like recognizing our daily efforts and celebrating simple achievements, consistently strengthen self-esteem. The path to self-worth begins when we can identify the patterns of insecurity that sabotage us, whether by procrastinating on important projects or constantly comparing ourselves to others. Here, daily reflection is a powerful ally. Writing about our achievements, fears, and feelings helps organize our minds and understand that we are capable, even when doubt persists. The practice of self-compassion also comes into play. Accepting that failure is part of the process is a crucial step in reducing excessive self-criticism. Stoic philosophy reminds us that we control our reactions, but not the opinions of others. This awareness allows us to face challenging situations with greater calm and confidence. Insecurity often manifests itself in small actions, such as hesitating before making decisions or feeling afraid to express opinions. Stoicism teaches us to observe these moments without judgment, using them as opportunities for personal growth. By appreciating each small victory, a sincere compliment, a completed project, or a difficult conversation faced with honesty, we strengthen our self-confidence. Virtue here acts as a guide. The more aligned we are with our principles, the easier it becomes to resist external pressures and maintain composure in the face of others' judgment. Self-worth, therefore, is not arrogance. It is recognizing and honoring our own worth. Finally, cultivating self-worth is also a resilience practice. When we ground ourselves in our values and develop peace of mind, we can navigate moments of doubt with greater confidence. Insecurity ceases to be a paralyzing obstacle and becomes a reminder that we can always grow and evolve. Incorporating simple habits, such as daily meditation, reflective reading, or writing exercises, strengthens internal awareness and reduces the need for external validation. Gradually, we realize that true self-worth arises from the continuous practice of virtues, self-care, and a commitment to personal growth, self-control, and reaction to external situations. Life is full of situations beyond our control. Traffic, other people's opinions, unexpected events at work, or even the attitudes of difficult people. Stoicism reminds us that our real power lies in how we react to these circumstances, not in the circumstances themselves. When we exercise self-control, we can separate emotion from reason, preventing anger, frustration, or anxiety from dictating our choices. This doesn't mean repressing feelings, but understanding them, analyzing them, and responding consciously. By realizing that every reaction is an opportunity to demonstrate resilience, we find an inner tranquility that reflects in all areas of life, including relationships. A practical example of self-control is dealing with criticism or narcissistic people. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can breathe, reflect, and choose thoughtful responses, preserving our emotional balance. By adopting this posture, insecurity weakens as we become less dependent on others' approval. Practicing small daily actions, like pausing before responding to provocative messages or emails, helps strengthen this internal muscle. Over time, we develop a calm and firm posture that inspires confidence in ourselves and others, demonstrating that control over our emotions is more valuable than any external control. Self-control also applies to our own failures and mistakes. Stoicism teaches that every stumble is an opportunity to learn, not a reason for self-judgment or excessive regret. Recognizing that we cannot change the past frees us from the burden of guilt and allows us to focus on the present, where our actions truly have an impact. Self-compassion comes as a partner in this practice, reminding us that we are human and that every effort toward personal growth counts. Thus, managing emotions ceases to be an impossible challenge and becomes a tool for daily empowerment, promoting self-worth and balance. Finally, developing self-control increases our resilience in the face of crises and unforeseen events. The more aware we are of our reactions, the more we can choose paths that strengthen our virtue, tranquility, and purpose. A daily reflection routine, meditation, or even small breathing exercises help solidify this habit, making us less vulnerable to insecurity and more connected to our values. By realizing that happiness doesn't depend on what happens around us, but on how we react, each challenge becomes an opportunity for personal growth and true self-worth. The importance of self-compassion and humility. We often think that Stoicism demands coldness or emotional detachment, but in reality, it teaches us to cultivate self-compassion and humility as pillars of personal growth. Self-compassion allows us to accept our flaws without drowning in destructive criticism, transforming each mistake into a learning experience. By recognizing our limitations, we learn to treat ourselves with kindness, preventing insecurity from paralyzing us. This doesn't mean complacency, but rather creating a safe internal space to reflect and evolve. Small practices, such as writing about our daily challenges or being grateful for progress, strengthen our self-worth without relying on external validation. Humility, on the other hand, connects us to reality in a balanced way. It reminds us that, despite our achievements and talents, there is always something to learn, and that the knowledge and qualities of others deserve respect and recognition. This attitude reduces our ego and helps us build healthier relationships based on mutual respect, collaboration, and empathy. By recognizing that we don't know everything and that perfection is not the goal, we develop inner peace and security, learning to react with balance to challenges and external criticism. Practicing self-compassion and humility also directly impacts emotional management. When we accept that failure is natural, we reduce the burden of anxiety and frustration and become more resilient in the face of adverse situations. An effective habit is to reflect daily on moments when we react impulsively or feel insecure, asking, "How can I learn from this without judging myself?" This exercise transforms insecurity into a subtle ally, boosting our personal growth and strengthening the virtue of facing life with courage and serenity. Ultimately, combining self-compassion and humility gives us a solid foundation for living consciously and intentionally. When we respect and accept ourselves, self-worth becomes natural, without arrogance, and resilience becomes a daily habit. These qualities allow us to build a healthier routine, take care of ourselves, and nurture meaningful relationships without relying on external approval. Ultimately, we realize that true strength lies not in denying our vulnerabilities, but in recognizing them, embracing them, and transforming them into opportunities for continuous growth. Emotion management and the search for tranquility. Emotions are inevitable and often intense, but Stoicism teaches us not to be slaves to them. Feeling fear, anger, or regret isn't wrong. The problem arises when we allow these emotions to dictate our actions. Learning to observe them mindfully and reflect before reacting is a skill that strengthens our self-control and resilience. Small daily practices, such as breathing deeply in moments of tension or recording our feelings in a journal, help us understand emotional patterns and cultivate calm. Over time, we realize that serenity isn't the absence of emotion, but the ability to manage and respond to them consciously. The negative visualization technique is a classic example of how Stoicism prepares us for the unexpected. By imagining challenging scenarios or adversity, we don't seek pessimism, but rather arm ourselves with emotional predictability. This reduces the impact of unexpected events and lessens the anxiety generated by internal insecurities. By applying this strategy, we can maintain balance even in frustrating situations, strengthening our sense of purpose and self-worth. It's as if we train our mind not to be easily shaken, developing an internal fortitude that can withstand life's ups and downs. Another important point is to understand that unrepressed emotions don't dominate us, but rather teach us about our needs and limits. Daily reflection on events that cause stress or irritation allows us to identify triggers, improve our emotional management, and make more informed decisions. This also positively impacts relationships, as reacting thoughtfully rather than impulsively strengthens connections and reduces conflict. The combination of self-control, self-compassion, and humility helps us live a balanced life, transforming insecurity into learning experiences and cultivating resilience in the face of challenges. Ultimately, the pursuit of tranquility is an ongoing practice that requires discipline, patience, and constant observation of our emotional responses. Meditation, breathing exercises, reflection on virtues, and self-awareness are powerful tools on this path. By developing these skills, we become more emotionally self-sufficient and less vulnerable to external influences. Life ceases to be a roller coaster of ups and downs and becomes a journey of self-worth, self-control, and personal growth, in which each challenge is an opportunity to strengthen virtue and inner serenity. Life purpose, ikigai, and daily routine. Finding a life purpose is essential to giving meaning to every action we take. Stoicism connects directly with the idea of ikigai, which motivates us to live with intention and meaning. Having clarity about what truly matters helps us reduce insecurity, as we begin to measure our worth by alignment with our principles, rather than by external approval. Discovering our purpose requires reflection, experimentation, and the courage to explore new paths, even if it involves initial risks or discomfort. It is in this process that self-worth and resilience go hand in hand, strengthening our ability to face challenges with serenity. A structured daily routine is the foundation for living aligned with purpose. Small habits such as meditating in the morning, writing down goals, and reflecting on our actions at the end of the day help consolidate self-control and discipline. Consistency transforms these practices into pillars that support tranquility and self-compassion. Furthermore, including time for study, reading inspiring books, and self-care ensures balance between mind, body, and emotions. Over time, this routine makes us more aware, productive, and connected with our strengths, transforming everyday life into a journey of constant personal growth. Purpose also acts as a compass in moments of doubt and insecurity. Knowing why we do what we do helps us prioritize efforts, make more assertive decisions, and resist being shaken by criticism or external obstacles. The practice of daily reflection, combined with small, intentional actions, reinforces self-worth and resilience, creating a solid foundation for facing challenges with calm and confidence. By combining purpose and routine, life gains coherence, and the feeling of being adrift gives way to a sense of progress and meaning in each step. Ultimately, cultivating purpose and routine is an exercise in virtue and discipline. Every habit built with attention and every action taken with intention strengthens personal growth. Self-compassion reminds us to celebrate achievements and learn from failures, while humility keeps us aware that there is always room for improvement. By integrating these elements into our daily lives, we transform insecurity into learning, anxiety into self-control, and chaos into tranquility. In this way, purpose ceases to be just a concept and becomes a practical force, guiding us toward a full and meaningful life. Relationships and self-sufficiency. Relationships are fundamental to a balanced life, but Stoicism teaches us that happiness shouldn't depend exclusively on others. Seeking emotional self-sufficiency means being able to find peace and satisfaction within oneself, reducing vulnerability to insecurity and external expectations. This doesn't make us isolated or cold. On the contrary, it allows us to create healthier connections based on respect, empathy, and authenticity. By cultivating self-worth and resilience, we become more balanced partners, friends, and family members, capable of contributing positively without being overwhelmed by the needs of others. Knowing how to set boundaries is an essential part of self-sufficiency. Stoicism teaches us to identify toxic relationships and to distance ourselves from people who disrespect our values or undermine our well-being. Learning to say no when necessary isn't selfish, but an act of courage and self-care. By doing so, we strengthen our self-control and emotional management, avoiding frustrations and resentments that could undermine our peace of mind. This approach allows us to invest time and energy in relationships that truly matter, cultivating strong and balanced bonds. The practice of humility and self-compassion also reflects in relationships. Accepting our flaws and limitations makes us more empathetic, while valuing our virtues brings us closer to people who share similar principles. Small daily gestures, such as listening attentively, recognizing efforts, and expressing gratitude, strengthen connections and create an environment of mutual trust. Self-sufficiency does not eliminate the need for coexistence. On the contrary, it improves the quality of relationships as it allows us to be consciously and genuinely present, without relying on constant approval or validation. Ultimately, the harmony between self-sufficiency and relationships fosters continuous personal growth. By internalizing Stoic virtues like justice, patience, and temperance, we become more resilient in the face of conflict and more capable of offering genuine support. Community life ceases to be a source of insecurity and becomes a space for learning and cooperation. When we balance self-worth, self-control, and empathy, we build meaningful and lasting relationships, strengthening our purpose and cultivating a calmer and more secure emotional routine. Living with virtue and continuous growth. Living virtuously is the essence of Stoicism, and it means seeking courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance in every daily action. It's not about perfection, but about constant progress. Every challenge, mistake, or moment of insecurity becomes an opportunity to practice these virtues and strengthen resilience. When we cultivate a routine of reflection, self-control, and self-compassion, we transform small actions into powerful habits that sustain our personal growth. Thus, each decision ceases to be merely a reaction to the external world and becomes a reflection of who we truly want to be. Continuous growth requires looking inward and recognizing our limitations without self-deprecation. Self-worth here is combined with humility. We celebrate achievements without arrogance and accept failures as learning steps. Practices such as reading philosophy, recording experiences, and meditation exercises help reinforce this process, allowing each day to be a chance to evolve. Emotional management becomes more effective because we understand that every intense feeling, whether fear or frustration, can be analyzed and used as fuel for personal progress. Another essential aspect is transforming everyday life into a training ground for virtue. Small gestures of kindness, honesty in difficult situations, and patience in the face of setbacks become daily practices that strengthen character. Insecurity dissolves when we realize that our value lies not in external recognition, but in the consistency of our actions. By integrating purpose, discipline, and reflection, we create a solid foundation to face challenges with courage and serenity, cultivating a life rich in meaning and aligned with ethical and virtuous principles. Ultimately, continuous growth is a journey with no finish line. Each step towards self-sufficiency, self-compassion, and emotional management expands our ability to live with peace and purpose. By embracing this philosophy, every difficulty becomes an opportunity, every relationship a learning experience, and every moment of doubt a chance to strengthen resilience. Life ceases to be merely a sequence of events and becomes a school of virtue, where each day is an invitation to evolve and practice our best selves, cultivating a legacy of wisdom, balance, and self-worth. The time has come to put into practice everything we've explored: self-worth, self-control, self-compassion, and the pursuit of virtue. Ask yourself, am I allowing insecurity to dictate my choices, or am I taking control of my life? Every step you take toward managing emotions, building purpose, and creating an intentional routine strengthens your personal confidence and resilience. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but each small, conscious action adds up, gradually transforming the way you relate to yourself and the world. Also reflect on your relationships. Are you surrounding yourself with people who contribute to your growth or who fuel your insecurities? Emotional self-sufficiency doesn't mean isolation, but rather living conscious, balanced, and respectful relationships, where the approval of others doesn't determine your worth. Ask yourself, how can I strengthen my bonds without sacrificing my peace of mind and my principles? This reflection is essential to creating a more harmonious life, where personal growth and virtue go hand in hand with healthy coexistence. By integrating Stoic teachings into your daily life, every challenge becomes an opportunity. Every moment of doubt, frustration, or fear can be seen as an invitation to practice resilience, humility, and self-compassion. Think, what can I learn from this situation? How can I react with more serenity and purpose? This type of constant questioning shapes not only your character but also the way you perceive the world, guiding your actions toward more conscious and satisfying results. Now, the decision is in your hands. You can continue to allow insecurity to limit your life or begin a path of self-worth, purpose, and virtue. If you want to continue your journey of growth and receive more content that transforms your mind and strengthens your personal confidence, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Each video, reflection, or practice is an invitation to evolve and get closer to the best version of yourself. Remember, inner freedom and a purposeful life begin with the first step, and it can be taken today.